We have some track in store to take us halfway down 9 stone rig cutting. The bridge that was donated, we've started restoration work, removing some of the many years of rust and grime, and it will be erected at some point and should make a superb high angle vantage point for any future photographers taking rolling stock coming up and down the line. The bridge needs quite a lot of restoration work to bring it back up to a safe standard, but we have started and the bridge will be put back into use at some point. We have a stockpile of signalling columns, the old semaphore arms that were been donated from both Stirling and in Blaine, and they will be brought back into use.
extremely interested in how print and digital information can be used together to complement each other, rather than just dividing the world into two. You just have a printed book or you have a digital app. So there are various components as part of this guide. One of them is a souvenir map, which is a paper product that hopefully people will enjoy putting in their walls and just enjoying it visually. There are 2 printed booklets. One is on the history of the Borders Railway, and then there is also a printed guide to the station areas, and they will have maps for each area pointing out various visitor information and things and practical notes. And we're hoping that that will be a practical thing that people can take when they're out and about, because if anybody's tried to use a map on a smartphone on a sunny day, it's quite a challenge. So to actually have a printed product that you can see and rely on without having to charge your phone. So the advantages of actually having the app is that we can have up-to-date information and you can keep updating that. You can also have different kinds of media, including video, for example. So we have in the history guide, it's illustrated by stories of people who've lived and worked on the line. Particularly with the modern stories, we're able to actually put video conversations. It was fascinating learning about the navvies. I got quite obsessed about the history of the navvies, looking at the conditions they lived in. So we have something in the region of 40 huts along a stretch between Fushy Bridge and Tyne Head, with about 20 people living in them. And the people living in these huts were not only men, there were women and children as well. There's lots of things that people can do, and I have to say, in preparing this guide, I've had a lot of contact with people at grassroots, a lot of contact with community groups, community councils, individuals, and everybody at that level, at the community level, is very excited about the railway, and there's a lot of imaginative work and innovative ideas going on at the moment, and you just hope that the powers that be will give these ventures the support that they need.
I think this is an appropriate point at which to recognise the efforts of the project team and the contractors who've been incredibly professional and efficient in delivering what is a massive project. And we should also thank, I think at this point, the politicians who've supported the project and who've had the courage to make the investment. In any campaign, it's the nature of campaigning that you don't necessarily get everything you want. There are aspects of the railway that we think could be improved, but the important thing is that the railway is here, and we think it's going to be very well used and very successful, and that will help us as a campaign as we continue to lobby for further investment in capacity, reliability, even better journey times, and of course extension of the railway south of Tweedbank to Hoyk and Carlisle. You know, this all goes back to 2000 and the original government feasibility study that was done then, and you know, incredible as it seems now, that completely overlooked the role of tourism for a railway from Edinburgh to the Borders. You know, they saw it really purely as a commuter line, and that I think framed the thinking and resulted in a railway design that offered little else. The campaign's always felt that whilst commuter traffic is of course vitally important, tourism also has a role to play in helping to make the line more viable, and of course in helping to maximise the economic benefits of the railway by bringing tourist spend into the Borders. You know, the government and the authorities have really now embraced the idea that there's a major tourism element to this line, and they're promoting it very strongly, and that's very pleasing indeed for the campaign. You know, the overall package for tourists will be a lot better than it would have been had we not made those representations. The campaign isn't over. We need to see how the new railway beds in, and we need to start seeing the benefits that we expect coming from that. And then we need to continue to lobby for further investment, and we also want to push forward the campaign to see the line extended to Hawick and then on to Carlisle.